AITA for demanding my girlfriend tells me her author's pen name? I've, M32, been dating Siobhan, F32, for 6 months now. She's always been very vague about what she does for a living, sati things like writing and working from home writing, but recently, one of her friends mentioned something and I finally dragged it out of her. She's an author, she writes and self-published romance and erotica stories and novels, and while not rich, she's able to make a living out of it. I googled her name and couldn't find anything, so I confronted her about this. She said she's writing under a pen name, so I demanded she gives it to me so I know what she does. She refuses, saying she doesn't want it to be leaked even by accident and no one knows. I accused her of not trusting me and she still refused, which was really annoying. I tried nicer approach and told her that I want to know her fantasies so I can try it out with her, and she told me that what she writes aren't her fantasies but her readers, and she's still not going to tell me. At night I tried to check her laptop for her pen name, but she changed her password before bed. I was annoyed and told her she clearly doesn't trust me and it's not fair because I have a right to know what she writes, especially since it's a sensitive topic and I don't know her if I don't know her pen name. She was furious. I tried to look on her laptop and told me to go home. Before leaving I told her when she calls to apologize, I expect to get her pen name with the apology. She called me in on my way out. I thought she'd call by now but she hasn't. My sister told me I was the and I should apologize, but I just don't see it and need second opinion. Was I the? She said she didn't trust me, so I waited until she was asleep and tried to log onto her laptop. Sounds like she was right not to trust you. YTA, for sure. You realize you're posting here on Reddit using a pen name, right? Do your friends know it? Does she? See where we're going with this? YTA several times over. First you started with a demand as if you had any right to this information, especially after only 6 months. Then you tried a nicer approach, which wasn't actually nicer, it was you pretending to be nice to get the information a different way, which makes you a lying liar. Then you tried to access her personal laptop for the information, which makes you a snoop and burglar adjacent. And then while she was throwing you out you said she better have an apology when you hear from her next, which are the last words of countless assholes throughout history when thrown out on there. Did you add a "you can't throw me out because I'm leaving," to show her how strong and confident you are? You dipshit. You are not entitled to anything. She has a very logical reasoning to why she doesn't want you to know, even though a simple no should have sufficed, and that is she just doesn't want erotica and romance tied to her real name. So, instead of accepting no, you continue to pester her and accuse her of not trusting you. Then you lie about wanting to know her fantasies, the nicer approach, and still get annoyed when she says no, despite her already giving you her reasoning. And then, shocked face emoji, you attempt to go through her laptop at night? Invading her privacy? Like, SMH, she just doesn't trust me, bro. Let me look through her laptop without permission. 100% trustworthy behavior. Then you want her to apologize? You expect it? After you snooped through her things and demanded to know private information, it's a pen name for a reason? What would she even apologize for? You don't have a right to know. What part of the law says Siobhan must relay any piece of private information to OK_West_9375? None. Looking through your language, even your own account doesn't do you justice. Confronted, accused, demanded, all sound very hostile. Major YTA. YTA. 100% YTA. You have been dating for 6 months. Erotica writers can face horrible situations if they are recognized by fans or by people who disagree with what they write. Also, if she's making a living this way and you were to find out she writes something you don't like, would you start pressuring her to stop? That's a bridge she's not ready to cross with you. Respect her boundaries and keep your hands off her work equipment. I can't believe she doesn't trust me, he said, as he attempted to break into her laptop. YTA, and I hope she doesn't ever call you again. She has very good reasons to not trust you. You were manipulative when you tried to lie about wanting to try out her fantasies. You then tried to violate her privacy by looking in her laptop. And you are definitely judgy about what she does. And the piece de resistance? You think she's going to be sorry that you left. She's probably grateful, not sorry. YTA, you are absolutely not entitled to any of her information, and the fact that you think otherwise is frightening. Period. I tried nicer approach. No, you tried to manipulate her and thankfully she didn't fall for it. When she calls to apologize, I expect. You should expect to be dumped. Again, YTA. YTA. I don't know how you wrote this entire post and didn't realize it. You started by demanding, not asking, for her pen name. You've only been dating for 6 months and she told you she isn't comfortable sharing yet, and instead of understanding and giving her time you reacted angrily. Then you tried a manipulative approach, feigning interest in her fantasies to get it out of her. This is doubly bad since you assumed without asking that what she does professionally is a personal kink for her. She said no again, so you ignored her boundaries and went behind her back to try and find out yourself. This is also a breach of privacy. You assumed you had a right to know something she wasn't ready to share even after you proved yourself untrustworthy. And to top it all off, you left saying you expected an apology like you're some kind of victim when she did nothing wrong. Congrats on being single soon, OP. YTA, you got mad your GF wouldn't tell you something and tried to ferret it out. I wish I could have seen your face when you realized she changed her password. You don't have a right to know, so I would suggest accepting that. AITA, you come across as someone who would threaten to rage leak her name every time she displeased you. YTA, she doesn't have to tell you, and you tried to snoop in her computer, a huge violation of privacy. She'd be well within her rights to dump you. YTA with bells on. She wants to write erotica from the safety of anonymity. You don't get to remove that. You're a devil for expecting an apology. If she were here, half the sub, more like 95%, would be urging her to dump. You're controlling, that would probably douse her in the event of a messy breakup. YTA, well, you're just a walking red flag OP, demanding, controlling and feel like it's your right to snoop. That's just grim. Enjoy being single. YTA, I have a right to know what she writes based on what? You want to know what she writes, don't confuse that with having any sort of right to the information. He's not a clown, he is the whole circus. OP 100% was going to use her pen name to blackmail and control her. I can't for the life of me figure out why she wouldn't trust this man. Why does she keep implying I can't be trusted, whines OP as he actively violates the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act the second she leaves him alone with her devices. OP very much seems like the sort that would dox her if they ever got in a fight, and also like he just wants to read what she writes so he can make sure he approves of it, and if she wrote anything he didn't like he would harass her over it until she promised to stop writing. His ex is probably realizing she dodged a huge bullet. The worst part of this is the real reasons he actually wants this info is because there's elements of being unable to control her and also jealousy because he's concerned she's writing about things he's unable to provide her. He's clearly not actually interested in her best interests at all. I mean, I think he's single now. 100% this. His entitled attitude alone shows he would definitely hold it over her head if he ever found out. Not a good person. OP, YTA. Dude, you clearly can't handle dating an erotica author. If you were able to dig up her writing, the next thing you'd be doing is demanding to know when she did each activity in the book. And then demanding that she does them with you, go to therapy and deal with your insecurity, your autocratic attitude and your jealousy. 100%, OP is YTA. I can't quite believe he thinks he is in the right here. Such a breach of trust. If I was her girlfriend I would never trust OP with anything again. You're controlling, that would probably douse her in the event of a messy breakup. I 100% have that impression after reading this post. OP's girlfriend is very wise to not give OP this kind of personal information when he seems like the type to weaponize it later. His behavior has demonstrated him to be someone who is fundamentally untrustworthy. Luckily, she already did, effectively, dump him when she kicked him out of her home. I really hope he doesn't have a key. I'm seeing a potential plot for her next book here. There's a certain kind of person who believes being in a relationship confers to them some kind of ownership over their partner. But the truth is that a relationship is an agreement and bond between two separate people, who together come to an agreement on the terms and boundaries of their own relationship. OP, if your girlfriend wants to keep this part of her life private for now, then you need to either respect that, or, if you can't handle it, end the relationship. You don't get to go snooping through her personal devices against her explicitly stated wishes. Jesus Christ. Bro. YTA. She wants to keep it private and you keep invading her privacy to the point of going through her private things. You sound super weird regarding her basic request to not share her pen name with you. Honestly, it sounds like if you found out you would blast it off everywhere, so your GF has a point. Hope you never find out. Edited to add your 32. Grow up. What is this behavior? She does not trust me with this important information. So I will go to the internet to total strangers about it. Who needs drugs when we have this level of unironic surrealism? Asterisk dude complains saying he feels she doesn't trust him. Looks at her laptop without her consent. Asterisk. Gosh, I missed that I have the right to apart. The red flags are strong with this one. She accused me of not trusting her. Yet, I don't know how she would do that. I thought girls liked it when men sneak behind their backs after being told repeatedly no. Women. So hard to please. Oh no, he is definitely the type to dox her. Within a small time frame, he accused her of being untrustworthy, demanded she do what he wants, tries to manipulate her, tries to break into her laptop and gets upset cause she changed the password. OP isn't just a bad BF, he was set out to destroy her. The fact that he assumed her writing was her fantasies and something he needed to involve, read, center, himself in says a lot. He doesn't respect or understand her art, and the fact that he can't have access to / control of it drives him to toxic behaviors and attempts at violating her privacy multiple times. Trash. I 100% believe he would have, too. He would have probably ran to all her friends and family and been like, did you know that she writes for a living? Your daughter / friend / colleague is basically a worker. Why can't men just leave women with their erotica alone? She knew enough to change her laptop password, she seems smart and on top of it. If he has a key and she doesn't want him back, those locks are already, hopefully, changed. Yep. It will be about a wonderful person who sweeps a writer off her feet after she left a controlling abusive boyfriend of 6 months. Not to mention that they've only been dating for 6 months. If they'd been married for 20 years he might have more ground to stand on, but dating for 6 months? That's nothing. If they ever break up he will definitely tell everyone, just out of spite. This dude selling red flags down at the Red Flag Outlet Mall. Probably gives them out at Halloween too. Yep. I'm a writer with a pen name. He's done. She'll never trust him. And then she finds out he died in a way that mirrors how someone dies in her current book, in a very graphic scene that causes him a lot of pain. Regarding after 20 years, if he's sneaking in and trying to break into her laptop, you are allowed to have your secrets in a relationship. This idea that you have to share every single, solitary fact about yourself with someone else is damaging. I have a feeling they did break up. He just hasn't figured it out yet. I personally liked I tried nicer approach and told her that I want to know her fantasies so I can try it out. He basically says she didn't give me what I wanted, so I tried to manipulate the information out of her. That girl def dodged a bullet. YTA, OP. He accused her of not trusting him when he went behind her back. He is totally unhinged. Crazy that she doesn't trust him. At night I tried to check her laptop for her pen name but she changed her password before bed. I was annoyed and told her she clearly doesn't trust me. This has to be a troll. The amount of mental gymnastics you have to go through to even have this thought. I wanted to invade my girlfriend's privacy but she changed her password to prevent me from doing the exact untrustworthy thing I am accused of being untrustworthy for doing. How dare she not trust me? Like, literally acknowledges that changing your password to prevent intrusion is a sign of distrust, without realizing it is their own behavior which is the reason for being distrusted. What's your pen name? I have a right to know. Yet it's literally his next sentence that he's annoyed she doesn't trust him. How clueless can a person actually be? If it was me I would never divulge that information to him after the way he behaved. Hopefully, she's just done with him now. How creepy to become obsessed with her writing to the point of going behind her back. He must be delusional to demand an apology when he is the one behaving badly and then add insult to injury by making the ridiculous demand for the information she already said she wasn't giving in order to accept the apology he isn't owed. Seems to me he's big time insecure about her knowledge of erotica and only wants to read what she writes to have more leverage to make power moves like the one he tried and failed to pull off here. It's truly a mystery as to why. He seems so trustworthy and innocent and not controlling or invasive at all. And don't forget the apology along with it for not telling us immediately. I tried to defy your trust by breaking into your laptop and found out you changed your password. Why don't you trust me to break into your laptop every time I want to feel validated? Classic emotional manipulation. Don't you trust me? Do what I say or you don't really love / trust me. Well, your characters did specific things, so why won't you let me do it? He whined in a high-pitched tone, remarkably reminiscent of a young child's tantrum. Agreed. My dad was having a rough spot with his wife and she decided to sleep in separate rooms. And he was telling me that she locks the door to her room, like she can't trust me, and I told him, how would you know she locks her room if you didn't try to go in there when she wasn't there? And he shocked Pikachu. But what if we try a nicer tactic, and pretend we just want to know their fantasies? A couple things. It seems to me that OP used GF's actual first name here, when a name wasn't even necessary since there are no other named people in the post. Siobhan isn't exactly a common, we'll call her _____ for the sake of this post pseudonym. This just solidifies the idea that OP would not be able to resist leaking her real identity to her readers or vice versa even if he didn't intend to do so. Second, I am creeped out by the general tone of the post, and I wonder if he would have taken the same confrontational stance if she'd said, "I write textbooks, but my company uses pseudonyms for all their titles, and I've been instructed not to share mine." I doubt he would have felt he had the right to know the content of her textbooks, or believed it was necessary to confront her or attempt to find her work after she specifically told him not to. I think this dude felt immediately threatened by the idea that his girl had her own thoughts about an intimacy, not to mention creativity and talent enough to make a living writing about it. I know from having worked in a bookstore that a lot of men couldn't wrap their minds around the fact that there was a healthy section of women's erotica that sold very well, and had devoted customers. No way. You mean nice, educated women who read actually have dirty minds? It skeeved them out that gasp women actually thought about, talked about, and yikes, participated in scenarios. It's sad but true that so many men complain that the women they are in relationships with aren't as interested in as they are, and they feel so alienated from them, while at the same time they are extremely judgmental of women who actually enjoy activity. Ugh. OP, needless to say, YTA.